Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to take you through what I remember to be the first 10 records I owned. And I've cheated a bit because, well, firstly, I can't quite remember my top 10, but secondly, I've included records which were in the family home or owned by my brother, and a couple of those, and I can't remember in some cases who bought them or where they came from, which shop, etc. By the way, this video was inspired by James Griffiths, who did something similar. Thanks, James. That was interesting to see your first albums, at least one of which is going to be on my top first 10 as well. So the first record, more or less the first record I have memory of in the Heaton household was this one, which is the soundtrack from the classic children's movie The Railway Children, based on the book by E. Nesbit, starring William Mervyn, Dinah Sheridan, Jenny Agutter, Bernard Cribbins, Sally Thompson, Gary Warren. Brilliant movie. Timeless. Watch it. Every time I watch it, never fails to move me. And this was a wonderful soundtrack. And with the narrator, I forget who narrates it actually. Does it say? Anyway, so it starts off, they were not the railway children to begin with. Don't suppose they even thought about railways, etc., etc. And then clips from the movie. One of my all-time favourite movies, even though it may be a children's movie. So this one, not the original that we had in our house, but Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We had the record of this. I was involved in a school production of it. I was one of the narrators. This is Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber, their earliest work from 1968. But this record came out in 1974 and contained some great songs like Potiphar and Benjamin Calypso and Go 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 Joseph and Any Dream Will Do at the end. Wonderful memories of that. And then also by Lloyd Webber and Rice, Jesus Christ Superstar. Again, this is not the original one we had in our family, but it's a double album. And what's interesting about this is Ian Gillan from Deep Purple is playing Jesus. Murray Head's playing Judas. Yvonne Elliman, who sung with Clapton, Mary Magdalene. And then the musicians included Henry McCulloch on guitars, who was obviously with Wings and with the Grease Band as well. Just a wonderful album. There's the main characters. Great music. The Herod song, Pilate song, Mary Magdalene's song, Don't Know How to Love Him. And then I picked up this version in Hungary, which was disappointing in one sense because it was only containing one of the two record sets, so it should have been a double album, but I bought it because of this interesting design on the cover. So worth it, but it wasn't too expensive. It was worth the price for that. So that's that. The Wombles, a very early memory for me in our house. We lived in Wimbledon, so the Wombles came from Wimbledon, so more or less everyone in Wimbledon followed the Wombles, and the rest of the country as well at the time. The Words, this album's full of great tracks like Madame Chalet, Don't You Go Wombling in the Nettled Beds, My Friend, that kind of thing. Bungo's Birthday, Tobermory. Mike Batt wrote all the Wombles stuff, and he also wrote hits for David Essex, A Winter's Tale, and Art Garfunkel, Bright Eyes. He was the genius behind the Wombles, and Remember You're a Womble. So this record was 73 or 74, 73, and then this one was 75. Chris Spedding plays guitar for the Wombles as well. And this comes with the lyrics as well. Again, not the original that we used to own in our family, or maybe this one is, but I think this one I had to re-buy because I'd lost the original. This is another very early memory, Scott Joplin. There was a huge revival of Scott Joplin in 1974 following the movie The Sting. which I think starred Robert Redford. And The Entertainer was all over the place, and Solace, which was also from that film, was made famous. And this was a wonderful band versions of Scott Joplin. You can get piano versions by Joshua Rifkin, but this was the band versions. Strangely unreleased on CD to this day, or on Spotify or anything. Then ABBA Greatest Hits again. This is not the original copy, but timeless cover. We all remember this. Well, anyone who lived through the mid-70s will remember this timeless cover. I can't remember who had that in our family, but it was certainly in the house. And this album was also in our house, and I think my brother, I'd have to admit it, my brother Richard got into the Beatles slightly before me through listening to this album, Oldies But Goldies, a compilation from '66. And then watching Top of the Pops in January '78 or December '77, Mull of Kintyre was number one. They were showing the video, and my mother said that guy used to be in the Beatles. And that was the start of my love affair with the Beatles, which is obviously still going strong. And I went out and bought that single. They'd run out of picture sleeves because it sold so many copies. They'd literally run out of picture sleeves, so I had to get it in a plain white sleeve. I remember. Later got the picture sleeve. And then a couple of months later, this album came out, With a Little Luck. Sorry, London Town, with the lead-off single, With a Little Luck. And this is in dreadful condition. I had it framed, and what the framer did, he cropped the cover, and when I removed the frame, because I thought I wanted to have the autograph, because this, you cannot see it, but the back cover of this is signed by Paul, Linda and Denny. Just about make out Linda there, maybe, to John Love, Linda Muck. And then Denny signed it Hi Again and Again and Again, Denny Lane, because I was meeting him quite a few times in 1987. He was doing the pub circuit in London. So this is a really fond early memory for me, London Town, and James, I know it was on your list. And then Bad Boy also, I picked it up at the time, but this is not my original vinyl. I picked up the vinyl later, but I had it on cassette, and it got nicked at school. So someone out there has got my cassette copy of Bad Boy, which is a bit of a shame. But this album came out right about the same time as London Town, and it's got fond memories for me, probably for that reason, because it was an early acquisition. This was a very early acquisition as well, ABBA Arrival, which was the album which came out after Greatest Hits, and I always loved this picture of them with the helicopter, strangely missing from the CD reissues of Arrival. They produced lots of lavish books and photographs of ABBA to accompany the ABBA Arrival CD reissues, but that inner sleeve picture is missing. This was an early one for me, bought in the spring of '78. This album came out, I think it was September '77, but the big singles that I became aware of, Sweet Talking Woman was the one which got me into ELO, and Wild West Hero, there was a guy at school who just played it non-stop. And to this day, I think it's one of my favourite songs of all time. And it came with this poster. I've done separate reviews of most of these albums on my channel, if you want to check them out. But just wanted to share my earliest memories. I didn't think this was the first. I was trying to think of my earliest Beatles album, and I think it was Let It Be, but I can't remember if I got it for my birthday in May of '78, which would have made it one of the earlier ones, my 14th birthday, or possibly I got it in May '79. So anyway, I can't remember, shame on me, my first Beatles album, but I do remember this one because I bought this at the time it came out. Song for Guy was the big single, along with Part-Time Love. And this album was just brilliant from Elton. Rediscovered all his work after that retrospectively, but this was the album with Song for Guy and Georgia and I Don't Care, Return to Paradise, then the Watford Football Club football team singing along on a couple of numbers. Song for Guy, written for the the delivery man who worked for at Rocket Records, who got killed in a motorbike accident. So that was my earliest recollections. Hope you liked them, or hope you were interested. See you next time.